Today's SaaS webinar, The Power Behind HR Analytics, featuring Pegasus Knowledge Solutions. I'm Brendan Bailey from SaaS, your host for today. To get us started today, I'm going to turn it over to Blake Sheldon, a solutions architect at SaaS. Blake, thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. And this is Blake Sheldon. Just a 2-second bio. I was an HR consultant for about 5 years before joining SaaS's HR department doing people analytics and HR analytics. And now I talk to customers about that process and how they can get started in this and where some use cases lie for them. So with that said, how did we get here as HR professionals and as the HR industry? And a couple of things that I've noticed in my conversations with customers and some of the macro trends that are influencing us is certainly this industry-driven growth in HR analytics is coming from the workforce crisis that looms in 2030. And there's an excellent TED Talk by Rainer Strack. He's from the Boston Consulting Group. I would encourage anybody to go watch that. It's about 7 minutes long. But he talks about these three things, how in 2030 there will be more jobs than there are people to fill them. And I often get asked after I say that, well, isn't technology going to replace a number of jobs? And while it will for some, the second part of this is that technology is creating a skills mismatch for the jobs that do exist. So there will be more jobs than people, and the people to fill those jobs do not have the appropriate skills, and will need to either retrain or identify ways to increase their skill set to acquire those jobs. And that leads to this third part around culture wars. So now if we shift to more of the people who have the skills and numerous companies needing their skills, why would my company be chosen over other companies? And this is where he discusses the culture war. And you start seeing a lot of focus on the employee value proposition. Pairing with that, I was actually in a webinar this past Friday listening to Josh Bersin talk about his 2018 trends in the HR space. And he put this graph up there around the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics labor productivity. And he points out that productivity has really been going at a slow pace. So even though we have these advancements in productivity for ourselves in our everyday lives, why are businesses not having that same benefit through all of the technology that they have? Part of that, you can see businesses need to do more with less, and on this graph, the second part of it, you'll see the increase on Google Trends for people analytics. And you could put HR analytics and combine the two, and I'm sure it would be even more dramatic. That as businesses are experiencing this, they want to figure out how can we engage our workforce more strategically. We realize that our time to fill might be increasing in the future as the workforce crisis becomes closer. I need smarter ways to engage my workforce. And so the business is really pushing HR in general, and Josh Bersin talks about this too, pushing HR as a function to be more in arms with the rest of the business and identify ways to be making smarter decisions around employees. And then, it gets to the second part of should we care? And there's a quote here that came from David Harcourt, who is the Employee Insights Manager at Yum Brands. They have KFC and Pizza Hut. And in his webinar just this past January, he said 10 years ago, only the biggest, most innovative companies were bringing analytics to HR. Right now, it is a competitive advantage. In the next 3 to 5 years, it is going to be do or die. companies are going to be able to attract talent better, retain them better, engage with them better, and in the long term, it will impact your bottom line. If you have the advantage, then it impacts your bottom line positively. If you don't, it impacts you negatively. He also goes on in that webinar to answer an audience member's question around, is it easy to do? And he says, HR data scientists are like purple unicorns. They're really hard to find. But the good news is that there are a lot of tools and resources that are available to HR and HR groups. SAS and Pegasus Knowledge Solutions are two of those resources that are available to you. And most HR groups that I interact with have no or limited information of what SAS is. So just to put it out there and get us on the same page, SAS is the market leader in advanced analytics. We've had 42 years of consecutive growth, and you could actually add up the next 7 competitors and still not reach the level of market share in SAS. But most HR groups don't exactly know who we are, and part of that is because the discipline is just in its growth period. So we're here, and we've partnered with PKSI on solutions and an HR solution that you'll get to see here today. So PKSI, Pegasus, they're a premier SaaS partner with a long-standing relationship with us. They've been uniquely able to provide solutions for our customers with advanced analytic models. And so with that said, I'm going to ask Supreet Singh, who is the VP of Solutions for Pegasus.
Thanks, Blake. So firstly, I want to make sure, Brendan, you can hear me fine?
You sound good.
Excellent. So as Blake mentioned, right, so businesses of all types are being transformed today with advanced analytics. And it's now the HR groups that are doing this. And, today we can do that and gain competitive advantage. In the next few years, it becomes an imperative because everyone's doing it. Many businesses of all types we talk to today are in fact in different stages of looking at workforce HR analytics. And it's, data is the new oil, and you need to mine it, and you need to use it to your advantage. Next slide, please. So, just at a high level, I know we talk about advanced analytics, and many of you in the room probably understand, what this entails. At a very high level, and this is not to overwhelm you, but the list you see on the left is, some of the things that go into analytics. Not that everything applies to the business problem you have, but it's the bucket that you would pick from. And the key things, of course, that you probably hear about are machine learning, artificial intelligence, predictive analytics, and of course traditional analytics. And that's all that goes into an advanced analytics solution. Now, of course, we are here with SAS to provide not just the platform, but the solutions built on top that can mask all that complexity from you. And what you see on the right is kind of a depiction of, what's the journey of analytics, right? So we all start on the left, which is kind of the reports that you see. Perhaps you use Excel to look at some data or crunch some numbers, or you have some basic reporting that comes to you as an HR executive. That's foundational analytics. That's your basic. That's looking back. Then you start getting more advanced because now you start looking forward. That's predictive. That's where you start saying not just what happened yesterday, but what may happen tomorrow. That's predictive. Prescriptive takes it a notch further, right? So now you're looking at perhaps finding some, okay, so I know this is going to happen. I know these employees are predicted to leave the company. What factors are there that predict that, and can I use them to advantage? Can I come up with, what's my next thing to do, or remedial measures to take? That's prescriptive. Cognitive puts it all together. Cognitive is when you are actually seamlessly using, all different types of information in your corporate environment and getting insights which are totally seamlessly integrated into your workflow. And we hope to get you there, but of course we have to kind of go through these steps to get you there. But everyone today is on that journey at different stages or the other. And most companies are probably between foundational and predictive, and it would be interesting in the Q&A session to see if get insights from the audience to see where they are or where they see themselves. Next slide, please. Okay, moving on. So this now is more of a description of what an analytics solution is doing today. A big challenge, of course, is everyone's got multiple silos of data, right? All data is not sitting nicely in one place. Well, in some situations, yes. Most situations, no. You may have a data warehouse. You probably have HR systems, applicant tracking systems, maybe some miscellaneous spreadsheets that you use for operational use. And then there's also the third-party data you can leverage. For example, socioeconomic data, resume databases, LinkedIn profiles, so on and so forth. All that's the data that could form the basis for analytics. And that's what we help doing in the solution, is to be able to ingest all that, cleanse it for analytics, then use the SaaS platform to build the models for machine learning, text analytics, predictive analytics, as well as traditional descriptive analytics, and integrate third-party data sources where appropriate, and then take it all the way to visualization using SaaS visual analytics. And that's kind of the journey that's shown here today. Next slide, please. Okay. Now, based on conversations we've had with SaaS subject matter experts, with the customers we talk to every day, with industry experts, this is a high-level summary of use cases or business scenarios that our customers are interested in. Top and foremost is, of course, employee attrition analysis. It's being able to not only look at trends and why employees are either leaving or at risk of leaving, how to prevent that. Then, of course, forecasting HR needs, different parts of that. Once you know, what your pipeline looks like, you'd like to be able to say, where do you need to focus your attention from the perspective of hiring, retention, and so on. Employability, which is, what makes for a good employee within my company. Not just, it's not just the skills. If it's a technical resource, it's not just the programming languages that they know. It's more than that. It's the culture fit. It's the organization fit. How can we mine our own data to get to that, to understand what that is, and more importantly, look for those traits in applicants? And that's employability. Employee loyalty is the degree of engagement you have with your customers. Your employees, which is to say, industry research shows that employees that are more engaged within the company in terms of projects, contributing to projects, responding to surveys, for example, participating in after-hours activities, those are just examples, would tend to be more loyal and more committed to a company. And therefore, again, mining your data to say, how can I gauge employee loyalty? And that's what we can help with. Exit surveys, of course, are a tremendous source, right? Once people do leave, you do want to know how and why, so that you can prevent that in the future. Sentiment analysis, great example again, and many of these examples, by the way, are examples of unstructured data or text or speech analytics. Being able to use all that to understand how do our employees feel about the company or about their job or the role they're in, and so on. Next slide. Okay. So here's where we'll focus in on. What we intend to show you today is how you can implement HR analytics today. What is possible, with a SaaS solution today that you can easily integrate into your HR process. Right from ingesting data from different sources like your HR, your tracking, applicant tracking, payroll, performance reviews, and so on, and third-party data sets, and then use it to your advantage for your operational insights. And of course, being able to do that, and that's where, of course, we want to show you how we can help without having data scientists on staff for your HR projects. Now, you may have data scientists, of course, assigned to other divisions in your company, but perhaps they are focused on how do I increase customers, how do I reach more customers, how do I find the right customers, so on, and may not be able to allocate hours to HR projects, and that's where we can help. And I know, as Blake aptly said, you don't have to go out and find those purple unicorns. We can help with that. And more importantly, deliver the solution integrated into your environment on premises or on cloud, and to give you quick time to value, and of course, have it customized to your needs. I'm actually going to turn it over now to Avinash Voruganti to give you a brief demo of capabilities so you can get a sense for what is possible today with an advanced HR analytics solution built on the SaaS platform. Avinash, over to you.
Thanks, Supreet. I am an HR executive at a company employing over 500 people. In order to grow, our business needs to retain our top skilled talent, attract and hire more skilled talent with the right skills, the right wage levels, and the right cultural fit. We need to minimize business impact by forecasting and filling skill gaps quickly. We need to also replicate the traits of top performers in new hires. Luckily, I can use data-driven analytics for insights. I can use the data from my HR systems, performance reviews, payroll systems, applicant tracking system, employee surveys, exit interviews, and many other sources to get data insights. I am able to do this without having data scientists and developers on my staff doing expensive projects. So now moving over to my employee retention dashboard. As the HR manager, I can understand staff attrition patterns by looking at attrition rate by year, attrition levels by manager, attrition by skill levels, departments, as well as divisions, and more importantly, high performer attrition. But these are only historical trends. Even more important to me is to be able to predict employees that are at risk of voluntary termination within the next 90 to 180 days. For this, I turn to my predictive attrition dashboard that provides me these specific insights. The insights are built based on past historical and current employee information. Some of these insights are further improved by using third-party data, for example, such as commute times, socioeconomic factors, and many more. I can now get insights into employees predicted to leave over the next 90 days as I look at this and drill it down based on departments, roles, managers under whom employees are predicted to leave, and identify top performers at risk of leaving. I can even look at individual employees and understand factors that are predicting their churn, so I can take remedial actions for top performers that we do not want to lose. The factors that you see on the screen are specific to demo data only. Your insights will show factors and predictors based on your company's findings. And now moving forward to HR forecasting. Because I have staff attrition predictions and high staff levels needed for different roles and departments, I can look at my forecasting dashboard to understand staffing needs based on roles, departments, as well as divisions. Based on high performers who are predicted to leave, I can take proactive measures to increase recruiting efforts, and based on staff churn predictions by role and department, I already know where to focus my attention. I now turn to my employability dashboard. I want to look at our current job pool of applicants and identify candidates that possess the traits that will make them successful for specific roles within our company. I can look at employability of each applicant specifically, and the insights have been created by analyzing the text of candidate resumes as well as external data such as LinkedIn profiles. We have also used past history of high performers within our company, and I will be able to see the top factors that predict employability of each candidate. Once again, the factors that you see on the screen are for the demo data only, and your insights will be based upon your company's data. Further, although I will not be able to demo this today, I am able to also predict the likelihood that a candidate will or will not accept an offer. Moving forward, I am now interested in exploring my current employee base and understand our employee loyalty. Employee loyalty helps us understand the level of engagement of current employees within your company. I can look at loyalty by department, division, as well as role. I can also see these factors that predict loyalty. Once again, these factors will be driven by the data given to me based on your company. The factors you see on the screen are demo data only. To improve my understanding of employee engagement, I would like to understand the overall employee sentiment. By looking at feedback from performance reviews, employee logs, publicly available social feeds, even phone conversations, I can form a picture of employee sentiment analysis. Although not shown in the dashboard, I can look at all this based on department, division, as well as role. Notice that my system can use unstructured data like text, social media data, and even speech converted to text in order to gain analytical insights. Last but not least, since I want to retain my top talent, I wanted to understand the reasons employees decided to leave. I can use exit survey data to analyze this. Even though the exit survey is a text-based document and not a structured data set. And all in all, to wrap it up, as you can see, our HR analytics solution can provide you a powerful set of tools for workforce insights. There are other features available as well that we can discuss in a follow-up conversation. And now I'm going to pass it back off to Supreet to continue.
Thanks, Avinash. So as you can see, we have kind of highlighted some of the use cases which can provide insights into your employees. What are the key factors of, for example, predicting their churn, and how do we retain them? And we've gone through quite a few use cases here. The obvious question, of course, is where do we go from here? If you want to implement this, what's the process? And that's what we've tried to highlight here in the slide that you see now, is how easy it is to go through and implement a solution of this type. And of course, it starts with an assessment, understanding what are your HR systems, what are your key data inputs, right? What kind of different systems are you using? And finding what are the business challenges that you are looking to overcome and get insights into. Using that then to determine perhaps you have output systems you want to integrate into. So we take all that knowledge in an assessment and create a plan to deploy the solution on your for your company. And yeah, the steps here I highlighted can show you at a high level what it entails. Short answer is yes, it can be done, and there is a clean and definitive process that we can follow to do this for you. And that's what you see on the screen here. Hopefully this will give you a sense for how easy it is to using pre-built models, customizing them for your needs, adding features that you're looking for, and getting to insights very quickly without having to do really large, expensive projects. Now, a key part, of course, in analytics, of course, is the ongoing support. These models obviously, may periodically, semi-annual, annual, depending on the nature of data you have, need tuning, and that's what we offer as an ongoing support model. And that's who we are. That's Pegasus, and leveraging the powerful SaaS platform, we are able to deliver this to you on cloud or on premises, customized to your needs, and as an end-to-end solution. And I guess that is all I had. Brendan, would you like to open it up to questions at this point?
Absolutely. Thanks so much for the presentation and demo. We definitely have some questions, so let me get right to it here. So the first question is, who is your target audience and who is the user?
Right. So the target audience are HR executives, HR managers who are looking to, get more operational improvements and looking to retain more employees, hire the right type of people. And the target audience, I guess, also from a company size, would be companies with 500 employees or over, so that there is, a reasonable amount of data available for insights.
All right. The next question is, my data is scattered across multiple systems. Will your HR analytics support that?
Absolutely. And again, by using the SaaS platform, which offers a lot of flexibility, we can ingest different types of data, text, social data, structured data from databases, integrate all that in, ingest it, and get insights. Very common question that we get from our customers is, but I don't have a single warehouse, my data is not ready. And the answer is, data is never ready, right? It's never perfect. But that's what we can help with, is using the SaaS tools to make sure that, we help you with that data ingestion and analysis phase.
And,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to add, this is Blake. Some of our customers, too, and specifically I mentioned David Harcourt from Yum Brands, and he has a white paper out there that talks a little bit to this as well, of how my data is everywhere, where do I get started, how do I build the foundation for HR analytics. And one of the things that he said as he was starting this discipline at Yum Brands was that the reason why he liked SaaS is that he knew SaaS would be able to take whatever system they have, not have to do a rip and replace of different vendor tools or anything. SaaS is able to connect into these different data sources, put it into the SaaS platform, and be able to do all the analytics that Supreet and team demonstrated today.
Absolutely right. Yeah. And I think it's great. I just wanted to add quickly that the important thing to note is it could be text. It could be, even speech converted to text. We are able to, work with all types of data today, and that's what makes it so powerful.
Okay. So the next question is, how long does it take once the platform is in place and the data is being ingested to start seeing actionable insights?
Great question, and I'm sure top of mind for a lot of people. So, of course, it depends on, internal processes and so on. We've typically seen that we can go to insights in about 3 months. So 2 to 4, 5 months is a very typical process.
Okay. In the previous question to this one, you mentioned unstructured data. Blake, would you want to talk about how SAS is able to analyze unstructured or text data?
Yeah, I think that this is such an advantage for HR as a function. Tons of unstructured data exist around exit surveys and social data, Glassdoor, anywhere people are commenting about the organization. And is there some way that I can have all this data make sense? Resumes, another great example. I need to be able to develop centralized themes about what's being said in my exit surveys. I need to be able to figure out in my engagement survey. And the thing about it is that it can be done in seconds. You just need to get that data, ingest it into the SAS platform, the SAS tools to do that text mining, and you can figure out all the different themes that are coming across in your text, your unstructured data.
All right. The next question asks about the support. Are we able to integrate big data into this platform?
Absolutely. So, of course, SAS provides the connectors to connect to Hadoop and other big data environments, and all that can be ingested and used here as well.
Okay. How exactly is this engine or software provided?
So, depending on company policy, right? There's some companies that prefer a cloud-based solution. So we are able to deliver this as a cloud-based solution, leveraging the latest SAS via platform. We're also able to do this on premises. So it's either an application that's integrated into your HR environment on-prem, or it can be delivered as a cloud solution.
All right. Let's see, on what basis do you classify an employee as a high performer or employable?
That's a great question. So in our upfront assessment, we work with you, the employer, to understand your internal KPIs, your internal markers, metrics, and then find the traits that lead to those improvements, right? And so we basically look to you to define whom you consider a high performer, and then use the data mining to find the traits of those high performers.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. How does the system update? Is it daily or weekly?
So the data, depending on the nature of the data, the operational data, it could be daily, weekly, monthly, depending on, what kind of data we're talking about, be it payroll information, timesheets, exit surveys, performance reviews, and so on. So as you can see, all of these have different, frequencies at which they are updated. So it would depend on the nature of data. But the model would then, periodically be scored or recalibrated based on the data input. And that's done based on, that we would determine during the assessment as to what periodicity makes sense.
Okay. This question says that they use Microsoft Office, PowerPoint, Excel for reporting or for presentations. Is there any support for accessing the data in this system into PowerPoint or Microsoft Office?
Yes, that's a great question. So SAS provides tools that let you publish reports into Microsoft Office, and those can be leveraged for that purpose.
Okay.
And from an input perspective, of course, we work with all kinds of data, text and.
Okay. All right. Well, that is all the questions we have. Blake, do you have any last comments or anything?
I know that this topic is fairly new to a lot of people in the industry, and I would just say out of the engagements that I've had with HR, it seems like companies are always worried about revenue and how can I grow revenue, and I don't want to invest in some HR tool, and they fight that challenge fairly often. And I would encourage people to go down the path with those somewhat of naysayers to ask them, well, why aren't we growing revenue, or what's wrong with our sales? And those people are going to go down a path of things that are wrong. Either, and if you keep asking why, they're going to be heading to the path of, well, either productivity, team development wasn't good, somebody turned over and left. It's all going to come back to some aspect of HR and people analytics. And as we move towards that workforce crisis in 2030, the business needs our help. And I would encourage HR to be at the table and engage in those conversations and try to move the needle, so to speak, on investing in HR and in people analytics and getting teams and organizations to work smarter.
Supreet, do you have any closing comments? Okay. Well, listen, I want to thank our panel of experts today from SAS and from Pegasus Knowledge Solutions for our presentation, demo, and answering our questions today. Before we conclude, I want to remind everyone that SAS Global Forum, the annual SAS Users Conference, is coming up in the spring, April 8th through the 11th at the Colorado Convention Center in Denver. Take advantage of dozens of workshops, presentations, demos, and networking opportunities that will broaden your skills and sharpen your focus. You can now take advantage of the early bird discount registration, which runs through March the 5th. To get all the information and to register, go to sasglobalforum.com. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. We know that your time is valuable, and we hope that you found today's presentation both engaging and informative. For Pegasus Knowledge Solutions and SAS, I'm Brendan Bailey. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.